திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். பாடும் பரிவேல் அணி சேவல் என பாடும் பணியே பணியாய் அருள்வாய் தேடும் கயமா முகனை செருவில் சாடும் தனியானை சகோதரனே. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். பூழியர்கோன் பூழித்த புகழியர்கோன் கடல் போற்றி ஆழிமிசை கல் மிதப்பில் அடைந்த பிரான் அடி போற்றி வாழி திருநாவலூர் வன்தொண்டர் பதம் போற்றி ஊழிமலை திருவாத ஊர திருத்தாள் போற்றி. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். தென்னாடுடைய சிவனே போற்றி என் அட்டவர்க்கும் இறைவா போற்றி ஏகம்பத்துறை எந்தாய் போற்றி பாகம் மண்ணூர் ஆனாய் போற்றி பராய்த்துறை மேவிய பரணே போற்றி சிராப்பள்ளி மேவிய சிவனே போற்றி அண்ணாமலைய மண்ணா போற்றி கண்ணாரமுத கடலே போற்றி காவாய் கனகத்திரளே போற்றி கைலை மலையானே போற்றி போற்றி வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு அரோகரா. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். அண்ட சராசரங்களுக்கெல்லாம் அதிபதியாக விளங்கக்கூடிய முருகப்பெருமானுடைய ஒப்பற்ற பெருங்கருணையினாலே ஞானத்திரள் சார்பாக நாம் ஆங்கில தொடரை நம்முடைய அன்பிற்குரிய சரவணன் தம்பதியினுடைய நல்ல ஆதரவிலே நாம் தொடர்ந்து நிகழ்த்தி கொண்டு வருகின்ற பாங்கில் தி ஹோலி டைட்டிஸ் ஆஃப் சைவம் என்கிற அந்த தலைப்பில் லார்ட் சிவா என்கிற அந்த பெருமானுடைய பெருங்கருணை திருமூர்த்தங்களை பற்றி தொடர்ந்து சிந்திப்பதற்கு திருவருள் கூட்டியிருக்கிறது. In the last few sessions we discussed about the basic concepts of the form Dakshinamurti. Shiva has assumed 28 forms as per Agamams. These are called Maheswara Murtangal. So we are supposed to worship, offer prayer or perform puja only to these approved deities, otherwise called Murtihal, approved by or prescribed by our Agamams. Beyond the scope of Agamam, we cannot install any deity and make worship. Of course, if you are the disciple or devotee of any other god, you can do as you like. But if you are a Saivate and if you follow the principles of Saivam and if you are adhering to the concepts of Saivam and if you think that if you call yourself as a Saivate and if you apply holy ash on your forehead and if you chant the mantra Namah Shivaya, then you are supposed to offer your prayers or perform your puja only one of the 28 Murtams, Maheswara Murtams. Out of this, we have discussed a few of them. We have discussed already. The last one or two sessions we discussed about the Dakshinamurti. Today, I think we can take up the other very popular deity and the most fascinating and attractive forms of Lord Shiva. That is Nadaraja. Nadaraja, the form, is not only attracted Saivas, but it also attracted globally around people belonging to other religions also. Because the unique posture Shiva has made attracted them, and it is actually rendering lot of meanings. If you just look at the deity, and if you just look at it, it is a posture. As a matter of fact, it is a dancing posture, which depicts a lot of principles of Saiva. This unique posture being installed in all the temples, and especially this is the Mula Murtam, that is the primary statue or primary deity for Sidambaram. If you just say temple for Saivats, it means only the Sidambaram temple. If you want to mention any other temple, you have to add Tirunelveli Koil, Tirisirapura Koil, Tiriyagambreswara Tirukoil, Ottiyur Tirukoil. Likewise, you have to add. But if you just say simply Koil, means it represents only Lord Nadaraja. Because such an important deity, Saivats, and in due course of time, people being fascinated by the look of it, and they were also buying it and keeping it in their big palaces or big buildings like that. Is it to be approved or not? I do not know, because anywhere if you install a statue, you must perform pujas regularly. You must offer pujas. It is not an ornamental statue. It is a divine statue, and it must create divine feelings, and it also indicates the relationship between the soul and the Almighty. So, it is also called the cosmic dance of the Almighty, and this dance he is performing for the functioning of the entire universe. If he stops it, then the whole universe comes to a halt and no more action in the entire world. Even a vibration or a movement is seen in an atom. The electrons are revolving around the neutron or nucleus. We have been studying in our science. So motion is everywhere. Here, this motion, the function, it indicates the function of the entire universe. The entire universe functions because of the dance performed by Lord Shiva. It is called Kuttu, Purpadi Kuttu, Tillai Kuttu. Kuttu means the dance. The dance, it is a posture of a dance, as a matter of fact. So, just I do not know whether you are able to see the features in his face here, but if you have a glimpse and if you have a chance of looking at the divine face of Lord Nadaraja in Sidambaram, the divine smile in his face will render thousands and thousands of meanings and feelings. I do not know how many people had the opportunity to look at his face and steal the glimpse of him. If you just are able to concentrate the glimpse on his face, the smile, how to define the smile? It is not a laughter, it is a smile. If you just see the smile, it will be rendering lot of informations. It will be passing off lot of details, as a matter of fact. Upper Swami says, Yendru Vandai Yennum Yemperuman Than Tirukurippe. Upper Swami says, Lord Nataraja asked him, when have you arrived? When did you come? He just asked me. That was the note he received from his glimpse of wine. As a matter of fact, if you have the opportunity to visit Lord Nataraja temple next time, you just have the time or steal the time to look at his face. If you are allowed, then you will find the what you call the divine change in your heart. Such a thing can be found. That was the experience for our people, and that was the experience I also had once upon a time when I went there. When I was looking at his face, how to express the power of smile. And nobody can explain or express the power of his smile on his face. Such a glamorous and such a generous and such a smile, nobody can do it. Nobody can. We have to appreciate. It has been brought into his face, that smile. I do not know whether other sculptures or other statues, they were able to bring that smile, but still it is a special thing for Lord Nataraja in Chidambaram. Okay, now if you just see the Lord Nataraja, the posture, dancing posture, if you just look at it, he is having his right leg on the back of the Moyalagan. He was being caught hold by his right feet. As a matter of fact, right foot is on him. Right foot is on him, pressing him down, not allowing him to escape. You can just see this foot was actually, the foot is actually pressing against his back, and under his pressure, he is also lying down with different expressions in his face and also in different postures of his legs and hands. Okay, that fellow is called Moyalagan. We have explained him. We have explained a lot of details about him when we discussed Lord Dakshinamurti. Okay, what about the other leg, the left leg? It has been lifted. It has been lifted. It has been lifted and it is in a special posture. Slightly folded. Slightly folded and has lifted up from the ground, depicting a special unique posture. You can just see. Then this leg is the grazing leg. As a matter of fact, this feet or this foot, as a matter of fact, this foot has to be caught by the devotees. They have to catch hold of these feet, because it will only lift the people in the miseries and sufferings. Okay. Now look upon his hands. One hand is swinging from left to right, and the palm is pointing towards the lifted foot. The arm, the swinging arm, the swinging left arm, and if you just look at the palm, it is just pointing towards the lifted leg, foot. Understand? Okay. Correspondingly, its right hand, it is in the posture of grazing. Abhaya hastam. Abhayam. That is, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. I am here. Such is the note that we are receiving from that sign. He shows, don't fear. I am here. That is the meaning of that posture. It is being, the palm is shown in the abhaya hastam. Hastam means, I told you, hand. In Sanskrit, hastam means hand. Abhaya hastam means the hand that gives you protection, security. It shows I am here to offer security, to protect you. Why do you fear? So such was the note being received by lot of people who worship Lord Nataraja. Okay, so we discussed about one set of hands. One is the swinging hand, swinging arm, pointing towards the lifted left leg, and the corresponding right hand is in the blessing pattern, blessing style. Okay, now let us go to the other set of arms. If you just look at it, we have two set of arms, that is 4 arms in altogether. Out of the 4, we discussed already about the 2. The other 2 in the right hand is holding a small drum that is narrow in the middle. It is called udukai. People used to beat it with a bead tied at the end of a rope, and it is being tied at the center. So if you just they move, they will produce a noise, sound. They will produce sound. So one hand is holding udukai, or a small tiny drum, a special shape tiny drum. On both sides you can just beat. At the center it is very narrow, and he is holding at the center. One hand is holding the mini drum or udukai, and the other one is holding a fire. That fire is in his corresponding left arm. So altogether we had discussed about the 4 arms of Lord Nataraja and 2 feet. You understand? Let me repeat: 1 foot on Moyalagan, other foot lifted up lightly, and 1 arm pointing, swinging from left to right, pointing towards the lifted foot, and the other one corresponding is in a blessing style, right hand, and another 2, one is holding a fire, another one is clutching a udukai or a small mini drum. Okay, now if you just see the pith means that is the long hair. It is called the pith, sadai in Tamil. Here it is spreading over, as a matter of fact. Viri sadai. In this picture it is a viri sadai. In another pattern, as a matter of fact, in Sidambaram, you don't have a viri sadai, panitha sadai. That is, it will be, as a matter of fact, it will be falling down. All the pith from his head will be falling down. And you can see the crescent, snake, the Ganges, the small skull, all of these things will be on his head in the pith. It's like a forest, the pith, Sadaikadu. It is like a forest, and he has a crescent and also a skull and Ganges and snakes altogether. All of them are in the pith. Over his head he is bearing all of them in his pith. Okay. So there are two styles of the pith, hairstyle. One is Viri Sadai, the other one is Panita Sadai. Two types of Nataraja we can see in all the temples and also in all the places where we offer prayer, worship for Lord Nataraja. Okay. Now, if you just see, there is a encircling frame around this statue, which is called Tiruvasi. The Tiruvasi is nothing but the Pranavam, Omkaram. It is the indication, it is the symbolic representation of Pranavam. Okay, this statue is on a pedestal, as we are seeing now. On the pedestal it has been installed, and in temples the Nataraja is installed, and if you just see everywhere Nataraja, the installed version will be in the northern side only, looking towards south, looking to us, Dakshinamurti. Dakshinamurti also will be installed in northern side, and he will be always looking on the south side. So to find out the direction, if you just see the Nataraja or Dakshinamurti, their directions being looked, they are Nataraja looking direction or Dakshinamurti looking direction, the direction in which they are looking is the south side of the temple, south side, the southern direction, the temple. Okay. Then, so it is the principle, this is the tradition we are following, that the Nataraja statue will be on the northern side looking in the southern direction. Okay. Now we have discussed these the details of the statue form. These are all the forms. These are all the details of the form we are discussing. As a matter of fact, it is a perfect art. As far as art is concerned, the craftsmanship, you can never see there such a work of art, perfection of art. It draws the admiration of all people over the globe, all scholars, all admirers, whether they belong to this religion or not, they are attracted towards this statue. And the statues which are often being stolen from temples is only Nataraja, because of they can very easily sell it to the international market. People are attracted towards Nataraja. They somehow or other they are being fascinated by the look of him, as if they feel as if he is talking to you, looking at you, and passing on some message. If you just look at him, then you will be wondering the transformation of messages from him to you. The only thing is the concentration, which we lack very much, of course. But anyway, if you are able to concentrate, and if you just see his eyes and face, definitely as our upper experienced, we will also have experiences from him. Okay. Now let us say the basic theory or the principle behind this that we have to discuss. See, the kuthu அல்லது the kuthu, otherwise dancing, what does it indicate? It indicates the functionary style. That is, if he moves, the entire universe moves. If it moves, then the entire universe moves. If he moves, the entire universe around him moves. That is the meaning. He makes the whole world function. The soul by itself cannot move. It doesn't have any energy. Soul doesn't have any energy. There is no inherent energy available in the soul. First of all, you must understand. If you supply energy, if it receives it, then it will function. That's all. Even if it may possess a brain, that doesn't mean it will act independently. Not at all possible. It has to be supplied the basic energy by the Lordship. Then only it will be able to function. That is the indication. That is, here Lord Nataraja performs 5 functions. The first one is, you can called the creation. The second one is called sustenance or protection. Even if you say protection, it may not be the exact meaning of the function. The exact meaning is sustenance. You can create something. It may die out one day or other. But during the time in between the creation and the destruction, the sustenance will be there. That is, it has to be keep on moving or living for certain time to be useful. Anything comes into existence, being there for some time, and suddenly disappears one day or other. The duration in between its existence, its date of being come to the existence, and the date of its extinction, in between only the duration, it will be useful. For example, take for example the body, the date of birth. We know the body was put in under use by the soul. It started using it. The soul started using the body. One day or other, the body will go off. Is it not? Then it just suddenly it comes to a stage where it cannot be used anymore. A stage. What do you mean by death? The soul cannot use the body hereafterwards. It is the only meaning. So far it has been using the body to contact the world, to enjoy the world, to get experience in this world. So far it has been using. The soul was using the body for its association in this prapancham. Once the body is removed from the soul, or if it becomes non-usable, then automatically it is being burnt or digged into a grave. Is it not? So, in between these two status, it is in the useful state. So, sustenance is the duration during which the soul is using the body. Now, I have cited the example of the body. You can take for example any other thing which comes into existence one day and suddenly disappears someday or other. Okay, the five things, the five functions the dancing posture indicate are: one, the creation. The creation. The second one is sustenance. The third one is destruction. The fourth one is, as a matter of fact, disembodiment or concealment, or we can call it as obscuration or concealment, maraithal. Finally, disembodiment or destruction. Finally, is it not? Okay, now the five functions: one is creation, second is sustenance, third one is the destruction, fourth one is the obscuration or the concealment, and the fifth one is enlightenment or gracing the bliss. Arulal, படைத்தல், காத்தல், மறைத்தல், அருளல். படைத்தல், காத்தல், ஒடுக்குதல், மறைத்தல், அருளல். படைத்தல், creation. Then protection, sustenance. The third one is the destruction. Fourth one is the concealment. Fifth one is offering the bliss. You understand? Or enlightenment. Okay, these are the first five things the Kutu denote. These are the further five things he is performing, continuously performing in this universe. He is still dancing. He is still dancing. The dancing is going on. That is why the world is going on. That is why all the functions are going on. Now, we have listed out five functions. Okay, these five functions, how can be correlated? How can they be correlated with the posture? With the Nataraja, how can they be correlated? Just look at his right hand. First of all, let us take the right hand holding udukai, that is a small mini drum. It produces sound. So, sound was the first status the universe started. Nadam, that is the creation point. The creation started with Nadam, then light, Oli. So, it indicates the small mini drum or the udukai in his hand. It indicates his function, the greatest, unequal, unparalleled function of creation. We will come later. What he creates, we should be getting a clear idea. what he creates, out of what he creates. All those details are to be sorted out. Okay, the corresponding left arm is holding fire. It is the destruction. It is the destruction indication. Is it not? Cremation, as a matter of fact, the body will be fired and it will be cremated in the burial grounds. It is the custom of Hindus. It is the custom of many people to burn the unusable, the physical bodies to ashes. You understand? So, fire is the destruction indication in his dance. Come to other two hands. One is blessing. One is blessing. That right hand blessing, right hand is nothing but the protection or sustenance. Come to the other two legs. The legs, come to the legs. Right leg is on Mailakan, stamping him. So that leg is called the concealment or obscuration. You can call obscuration or concealment, maraital. The other one lifting up, that leg is indicating the grace of bliss, the grace of bliss. So, Saivites are very, very particular in catching hold of his feet, both feet. இணையார் திருவடி என் தலைமையில் வைத்தாலுமே துணையான சுற்றங்கள் அத்தனையும் துறந்தொழிந்தேன். That's how Manivasakar claims. Okay. So, people will be fond of catching hold of his lotus feet and they will imagine that he is placing his feet on their heads, Tiruvadi Diksha. Okay, so the left lifted leg, as a matter of fact, belongs to Goddess Sakti, because his left portion always is occupied by Goddess Sakti. So that we can claim that the left lifted leg belongs to Sakti, that is grace. Okay. So we have listed out the creation and then protection. Creation by the hand holding the mini drum Udukai, and then the protection, the blessing hand, and the cremation or destruction by the left hand holding fire. And three things are over, and the leg on the floor on Mailakan, it indicates the concealment, and lifted left leg is indicating grace. Okay. So, these are all the 5 functions of Nataraja. He is performing the 5 duties, 5 duties. Aindu Tozhil, as a matter of Aindozhil. This is called the dance. What does it mean by dance? Dance means he executes these 5 functions so that the souls can be lifted up from the miseries and sufferings they are undergoing now. Why these souls are undergoing miseries and sufferings? Of course, the root cause we must know. The basic cause, the root cause, the seed of all these troubles, sufferings is Anava Malam, Anavam. As a matter of fact, Mailakan is nothing but that ego, Anavam. Ego is nothing but Anavam. Anavam is nothing but ego. That ego is this I and my, yan and another. This the these two make the people to suffer all the troubles. The Saivam says that since the soul climbs for every action, it claims its ownership. I did this, I done that, I have done that, I did this, I am doing this, I will do that. So all these things indicate the occupancy of the egoism. The soul, because of its ego, because of its selfishness, it suffers a lot. So slowly the doctor, Lord Nataraja, doing the operation, either it is a surgical theatre or this universe, he is carrying out this operation of 5 performances of giving birth to souls, making them to experience and to make them suffer, and they will come to the conclusion. The sufferings I am just undergoing are all created by my ego. One day or other it has to understand, and if it surrenders and if it catches hold of the lifted leg, then he will be lifting you up from the miseries and sufferings. Okay. So, if you just look at Lord Nataraja, these are all the 5 functions. 5 functions he is carrying out to bless the souls. Even though the creation or sustenance or destruction or concealment, if they may have different names. But the Saivists claim that even though their names are different, they all come and focus towards only blessing. Only out of His mercy He is doing all these functions. Creation only to bless the souls, the creation. So only because of His mercy, only to help the souls, He is performing all these 5 functions. So we should not say that only one function out of them is blessing, all of the others are not blessing. No, not like that. Even though it is being claimed as a blessing style, altogether everything is done only for blessing. Everything is done only for good. If you just say the father, he may give money, pocket money for his son, he may get his food, he may get his dress, he may get him a bike. But if the son commits some mistake, he will punish him. But what do we call the punishment is nothing but the other way of grace. Unless otherwise if he is punished, he will not understand his mistake and he will avoid it in the future. Is it not? If we are not punished for our mistakes and crimes, then it will become our habit of doing them. Is it not? If I do a mistake, if you want me to correct, if you want me to be corrected, if you want to correct me, what will you do for the mistake? Just a pat on my shoulder and tell me, okay, nice thing you have done. Do you think I will correct myself? No, I will again do it in a more stronger form. Is it not? So whenever I commit a mistake, when I do a mistake or a crime, as a matter of fact, it starts with a mistake and ends up in a crime. At the starting time, it will be a small mistake, but it will grow into a big mistake or a big crime in due course of time. Unless otherwise you are punished, being corrected at the initial stage, then There is every liability of doing a big crime in a later stage. So the right duty of the father, the daddy, right duty of the daddy is, he may bless with all the good things, but the most vital duty is whenever the son is erring, whenever he is going on a wrong path, the duty of the father is to correct him, punish him. He should draw him out of it, and he must be corrected in his travel. Don't you think it is correct? Will somebody say the father is cruel? He is punishing his son. He is cruel to him. He is not loving his son. Will anybody say like that? No. Nobody will say. The father is very strict because he wants his son to be coming up in a rightful manner. He must grow in a rightful manner. That must be the aim of the father. So people will not blame the father if he punishes his son. You understand? Likewise, if God is punishing us with some punishments, don't blame the God. Tell yourself that you are being corrected. He is correcting you. He is setting something right. So whatever he does is for our good only, for nothing else. He is not going to be benefited in any respect, in any way. If he gives you, is he going to be benefited? If he punishes you, is he going to be benefited? No, nothing at all. Then why he does all these things? Only out of mercy. Only out of mercy. On seeing the souls being suffering like this, on seeing the souls being suffer, is it not they are suffering like anything, being under the sufferings. He wants to liberate the souls from their sufferings and miseries. That is why he is doing all these things. Otherwise, he is not going to be benefited in any respect for all his activities. So he performs the duties, and those duties are indicated in this statue. As a matter of fact, the very same statue, it offers Anandam to the mentors, to our saints. When they look at this, they see him rendering the almost fulfilled grace and peace out of this Kuthu. That is why it is called Ananda Kuthu. You understand? The same statue corrects some souls. The same statue gives pleasure to the corrected people or divine souls. You understand? Milk sometimes will be becoming medicine for suffering or sick people. The same milk will be becoming food for even very good healthy people. Is it not? Same milk. Milk will be quenching your appetite, your hunger, but at the same time it will be the sweetened milk will also be a pleasure for you. Likewise, this Kuthu, Ananda Kuthu, the same thing. Aivahai Kuthu, Aindu Kuthu, the same thing. The same Nataraja delivers lot of messages. The same Nataraja put the matured souls in unmeasurable pleasure. For example, our Triyana Sambandar goes to Chidambaram. He worships Lord Nataraja. What was his experience? David Sekudar explains the experience. Our Triyana Sambandar was enjoying a overwhelming pleasure out of the Kuttu. He sees him as a pleasure domain. So, as a matter of fact, it depends upon the maturity of the soul which sees the Lord Nataraja. Okay, I want to enlighten one more point in this, that we discussed the creation. What does he create? You should not mistake that Lord Nataraja creates souls. Souls cannot be created. They never die out. Souls are ever existent, entity, never ending. You understand? Like God, like the Almighty, the souls are also not created or not destroyed, cannot be destroyed, neither destroyed nor created. It ever exists, that's all. So, Lord Nataraja never creates souls. We should not misunderstand. Some religions claim that the God, the Almighty, creates the souls. It is meaningless. Why should he create souls at all? What is he going to get out of it? The souls are created. Are they all right? No. They are with a lot of shortcomings and mistakes and bad qualities. Where do they get all these things? Only out of the creation, isn't it? Then the total blame will be going on the head of Lordship. The Almighty created these souls with a lot of misshapes. Will it not come to the Almighty? So, if the Almighty creates the souls, let him create without mistakes. All souls are alike, with only good qualities, not bad qualities. He can create them, isn't it? Why he creates the souls with such flaws? So, it is meaningless to claim that God creates souls. God never creates. But what does he create? Of course, he creates the world. He creates the world. Okay. The next doubt is, if the God creates souls, the next question will come, out of what? You understand? I created this pot. Can't you say? Out of what? Out of mud. As a matter of fact, it is not a creation. It is not a creation. I made it. I made a pot out of the mud. That's all. It is only a making, not a creating. Create means which doesn't exist before, or which is in its subtle state and brought to the Thula, that is available to our sight and other senses. Thula means available to our senses, the feel of our senses, available to the feel of our senses. That is Thulam. What do you mean by Sukshamam? The subtle state. It exists, of course. You cannot make anything which doesn't exist. The whole world, the body, even if you cremate it, if you fire it, it will go into ashes. That is the original state out of the 5 elements, made out of 5 elements. You understand? So, nothing can be created nor destroyed in this universe, but it cannot come out automatically. So the whole world is made out of Maya, including the body. It is made out of Maya. So only out of Maya the whole world evolved and the body also came out. But when there is Maya to make all these things, then what is the necessity of Lordship? Why the God should be there? Because the world, the universe came out of the Maya, of course, but it will not come out automatically by itself, because they are inert, they don't have sense, they cannot come out of by themselves. Somebody has to create it. That is called a creation. There is mud. Only out of the mud a pot can be made, but pot cannot come out of the mud automatically. A potter is necessary. Is it not? See, there is a seed. There is a seed. The plant will come out of it naturally, but not automatically. A kisan is required, that is a peasant is required. That fellow should have a sense. The mud doesn't have sense, the pot doesn't have sense, but the potter does have. Is it not? So we understand that making things out of inert things or senseless things or inanimated things, if the inanimated things come into the form of another inanimated form, that form change, that is from the Tula stage to Suchama stage, in other words. In the mud, the pot is inside it in the Suchama state, subtle state. It has to be brought into light by the potter. Potter is having some wisdom. So likewise, out of Maya, all this universe evolved. Of course, it cannot come by itself. Somebody should be there with wisdom, and that is the God. God only brings out the world from the Maya. That is called the creation. Creation is nothing but bringing out the world and the physical bodies from the 5 elements, otherwise called Maya. You understand? So that is called creation. Creation means creation of universe. Creation of these physical bodies are like that, like all those things. That is called the creation. So creation, sustenance also comes along with it, because the pot should be, see, once you make a pot out of the mud, it should be there, it should be existing for certain period for usage. If it is destroyed at the moment of creation, then what is the point of creation? A thing is created, immediately it ceases into existence. It is destroyed, created, destroyed. What is the use by creation and destruction? In between there should be a state, a sustenance, during which period that thing will be made use of. You understand? Likewise, out of Maya, the whole universe was created by Lord Nataraja, and it started from the sound, and later light evolved out of it, and thus goes the total creation. So the dancing performance of Lord Nataraja it depicts the basic 5 functionaries of the Lordship of the Almighty. So one scholar, Mr. Kumaraswamy, will describe the Nataraja like this. It is a poetry, but nevertheless the truest science. Lord Nataraja, it is the poetry that is like a poem. If you go through a poem, it delivers a lot of messages. And it creates a lot of tunes in your heart, that poem. Likewise, Nataraja also, if you have the patience and concentration, and if you look at him, it creates lots of meaning and lots of messages being delivered to you. Look at his eyes, look at his lips, look at his the fantastic smile on his face. Look at him, the style of his hands, the style of his lifting his leg, the style in which he has just twisted his waist. All these things, if you have time to look at it, it is definitely a poetry. It is the poetry, but nevertheless, it is also a science. What are all the scientific facts? We will discuss in our next session, that is next Saturday on 31st. We will continue our discussion of the deity Lord Nataraja. With this, I am just concluding this session with my 5-lettered mantra being chanted 5 times. I request you to follow me. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். தென்னாடுடைய சிவனே போற்றி, என் நாட்டவர்க்கும் இறைவா போற்றி. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். I request you to go through the Tamil monthly Gnanathiral. Gnanathiral is publishing every month a book in Tamil, of course in Tamil. If you have time, you can subscribe and you can go through the books, and it gives a lot of interesting facts about our Tirumurai, that is Devaram, Tiruvachakam, all these things. It is being published for the last 11 years and it is going on successfully, and you must go through this book in Tamil, and you will find a lot of information. If you don't receive Gnanathiral, then you are missing something, I will certainly say. So, please try to subscribe and also motivate others to subscribe Gnanathiral so that they will also be benefited. With this, I am just concluding. Let us meet in the next week, Saturday on 31st. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். தென்னாடுடைய சிவனே போற்றி, என் நாட்டவர்க்கும் இறைவா போற்றி. வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு அரோகரா. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம்.